Hello, it's Mike from Bowburn. Or so I've said many a time on the phone, but I haven't always lived here. I was brought up in a London suburb. My wife, Jen, was brought up in rural Lincolnshire and then a town near Oxford. Our two sons started life in East Oxford, a cosmopolitan neighbourhood between the university and the car factories. Jen was a secretary, I was a teacher. We both loved our jobs, had many good friends, and were very happy there. But 50 years ago, we made the huge decision to tear up our roots and move lock, stock and barrel to Durham. The plan was for me to get a higher degree and then go into teacher education. And this is extraordinarily bad timing as it turned out, and both Jen and I went on to follow quite different careers. But we never regretted our move. The boys grew up here, Jen died here, and I only moved a few miles away 3 years ago when I moved from the family home to a retirement flat. Back in 1972, the house we found to live in while I studied was in the colliery rows in Bowburn, shown here in a more recent photograph, about 5 miles south of Durham city. The local colliery had closed in 1967, 5 years before we arrived. Many of its structures were still standing, but soon to be demolished. But Bowburn was still a pit village, and as such it was quite unlike anything we had known before. Apart from our house, which had been sold to our predecessors, who were also postgraduate students, everything in the terrace rows we moved into was owned by the NCB, the National Coal Board. The front streets had not been made up. There were few cars, and those that did venture through had to navigate carefully on washing day. All our near neighbours were miners, now travelling to other pits, or ex-miners and their families. We had trouble at first with the regional accent, and many of our neighbours struggled to understand us. On the day our goods and chattels arrived, children from up and down the street crowded round to help us unload. I doubt if many people would be happy without that nowadays, but in those days many people didn't even lock their front doors. "New students have got more books than old students," shouted one of them. And "Welcome to Bowburn" was the message we registered, loud and clear. We sorted the house out, after a fashion, over the next few days, and then we went and collected the boys from their grandparents, where they'd been staying while we moved. That Saturday there was a knock at the door. "Hello, I'm Carol. I'm your babysitter. You're going to the club with your mum and dad." Within a month or two we knew more people than we'd got to know in over a decade in Oxford, and in the decades that followed we never wanted to leave. I am to this day grateful for that wonderful welcome to Bowburn.